Hi, fifth graders. Today I'm going to show you another strategy for dividing called the box method or box division. And the box method is just a variation of the traditional method that takes up less space. So I've put all of the words for the traditional method at the top. In the box method, I still have a divisor written on the outside. I still have a dividend written on the inside, and I still have a quotient and sometimes a remainder written on the top. We just organize those pieces a little bit differently. So let's take a look at how that works. Let's look at the example 8,172 divided by 12. Well, I know that 12 is my divisor, and in the box method, just like in the traditional method, I'm going to write the divisor all the way on the left. That's going to go on the outside of where I do my work. Then I need to look at my dividend. In this problem, the dividend is 8,172. Just like in the traditional method, the dividend is going to be written on the inside. But this time, this is where it looks a little different because our work is going to be organized into one large rectangle. Inside that rectangle, I'm going to split it up into the same number of smaller sections as there are digits in my dividend. So since I have a 4-digit dividend, I need to split that rectangle into 4 smaller sections. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write each digit from this dividend all the way on the right-hand side of the box. Then I just move step by step through each of the boxes like I would with the traditional method. So the first step is to divide. I need to ask myself how many groups of 12 can I make if I only have 8 things? That would be 0. Then I multiply. 0 times 12 is 0. So I'm going to subtract 0 things away from 8. I'm left with 8 items. Now here's the one last difference for the box method, and it's the part that lets it take up less space than the traditional method. In the traditional method, like would look like up here, you would bring down the 1. In the box method, you slide the leftover amounts up. That allows you to now just focus on this box and move box by box instead of looking at the whole problem at one time. So now again, I'll repeat those steps. If I have 81 things, how many groups of 12 can I make? I know that would be 6 because 6 times 12 is 72. So when I subtract, I get 9. Then I'll bring that 9 up into the next box. Now I can focus on just the third box. If I have 97 things, how many groups of 12 can I make? I know that would be 8 because 8 times 12 is 96. So I'll subtract 96 and I'm left with 1. I'll bring up the 1 next to the 2 and now I'm focusing on just the last box. Of course, if I have 12 things, I can make one group of 12. So I'll subtract 12 items away, which leaves me with 0. Now these 4 digits on the top tell me what my quotient is. That means my quotient is 681. So this is just a variation of the traditional method that you can use. Let's take a look at a couple more examples of how you would put this into practice. All right, so we are going to look at some different examples using the box method. And I have to tell you, this is my favorite method for division because it keeps your work nice and neat. It gives you more space on your paper to do any extra mental math strategies you need because the actual division work itself takes up a lot less space than if you're using the traditional method. If you prefer the traditional method, that is totally okay. I am fine with that. But I want to show you this strategy in case you might like it a little bit better. So let's take a look at the example 564 divided by 4. And remember, the dividend, or the amount we're splitting apart, is always written first in our equation if we're going from left to right. Our divisor, that's all about equal groups, that's going to be written second. So that will either tell me how many equal groups I have or how many items are in each group. And then the quotient we're trying to find, our answer, will come last. So for the box method, what I need to do is I need to draw a box. However many lines you think you'll need. My divisor is going to go on the outside of this box. So just like with the traditional method, your divisor goes on the outside, Same thing with the box method. Now I need to look at my dividend, and since I have a 3-digit number, 5, 6, and 4, I need to split this box into 3 boxes. And I'm going to put the 5, the 6, and the 4 in the right-hand corner of each of these columns. So I'm going to put the 5 all the way to the right here, the 6 all the way to the right here, and the 4 all the way to the right here. And I'll show you why as we go through. So now I can go box by box. So I can cover this up and pretend like the division problem that I'm doing is 5 divided by 4. Well, that makes it a lot less intimidating for me. So I know I can fit one group of 4 in 5 because 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, I'm left with one item. Now here's why we wrote all of those original digits on the right. In the traditional method, you would bring down the 6. In the box method, you bring up the 1. Now we're looking at just the middle box. How many groups of 4 can I fit into 16? In that case, I can make 4 groups. 4 times 4 is 16, so I'm going to subtract away those 16 pieces. I'm left with 0. I can get in the habit of bringing up that 0. Now I'm looking at my final box. How many groups of 4 can I make out of 4 things? Just 1. Subtract 4 items away. I'm left with 0. That means my answer is 141. Let's take a look at another one. This time I have 2,461 divided by 3. So again, I'm going to draw a large box in the center of my paper. My divisor of 3, I'll write on the outside. And this time I have a 4-digit number, so I need to divide that box into 4 columns. And I'll put my 2, 4, 6, and 1 in the right-hand corner of each column. How many groups of 3 fit into 2? Well, that's 0. 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract, I'm still left with 2. Bring up that 2. How many groups of 3 can fit into 24? That's 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract, I'm left with 0. Bring up that 0. How many groups of 3 fit into 6? 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, I'm left with 0. Bring it up. How many groups of 3 fit into 1? 0 groups. 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract, I'm left with 1. Since I have no more columns, that means that 1 is a remainder. So my final answer here is 820, remainder 1. This example is another reason why I love the box method, because a lot of times with using the traditional method, 5th graders will forget about that placeholder 0. With the box method, you know you're going to have 1 digit above every single column, so it makes it a lot easier to remember to put that placeholder 0. Let's take a look at 2 more examples. This time I have 3,256 divided by 8. So again, large rectangle in the middle of my paper. My divisor of 8 is going to go on the outside. I have a 4-digit number, so I divide my rectangle into 4 columns. I'm going to write 3, 2, 5, and 6 in the far right-hand corners. How many groups of 8 fit into 3? 0. Subtract, I'm left with 3. Bring it up. How many groups of 8 fit into 32? That's 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract, I'm left with 0. Bring it up. How many groups of 8 fit into 5? I can't, so I need a placeholder 0. It's a good thing I've got that box to remind me. 0 times 8 is 0. Subtract, I'm left with 5. And finally, once I bring that up, how many groups of 8 fit into 56? That's 7, because 7 times 8 is 56. Subtract, I'm left with 0. So this question has no remainder. The answer is 407. One more example to go through together. So 7,629, you know by now, big rectangle in the middle. Divisor of 7 is going to go outside on the left. 4-digit dividend means 4 columns. I'm going to write the 7, 6, 2, and 9. Now we go box by box. I can make one group of 7 out of 7 things. Subtract 7 away, I'm left with 0. Bring it up. I can't make any groups of 6, so I subtract 0. I'm left with 6. Bring it up. When I divide 62 by 7, I end up with 8 groups because 8 times 7 is 56. Subtract, I still have 6 pieces left over to use. Bring it up. 7 can fit into 69. 9 times 7 is 63. Subtract, I'm left with 6. I have no more columns, so that means that's my remainder, which means my final answer is 1089, remainder 6. Whatever strategy you use, the traditional method or the box method, remember you're dividing, then you're multiplying, then you're subtracting, then you are either bringing down the digit in the traditional method, or you're bringing that leftover amount up in the box method so that you can move on to the next place. I hope you found one strategy that you like. Thank you for watching.